Hey guys, I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on Ricky Pearsall. So we're going to be placing Ricky on season-ending IR, and he's going to go undergo surgery on his PCL. He's gutted. We're gutted. Really good football player. Really good. Really important. Member of our team, an impactful player. Unfortunately, this PCL, which started in the Jaguars game, which I think was September 28th, he missed about 6 weeks there. Got back and played well. Dinged it a couple times during the course of the season. At the culmination of the season, as we had throughout, we consulted with multiple opinions, experts in the field. Over 100 years of NFL experience with the different docs. You probably are very familiar with the names, along with our own doc, Tim McAdams. The decision was made to go with a non-operative deal. I had a PCL myself, second or third year in the league, and that's kind of the way that things go. It's going to be a struggle to get through that year. You get to the off season, and most resolve themselves without surgery. Unfortunately, Ricky's did not. He did well throughout the offseason. He got to the point where he ramped it up, to the last gear right before camp, and then he came into camp and the rigors of camp, competition and whatnot, he swole up right away. And again, then we got new scans. We consulted all the opinions with a couple more, and the consensus led us to collectively make a decision. The organization, along with Ricky, obviously the player, has some say, and it was just that this thing had declared itself, and it's unfortunate. The great news is the rest of Ricky's knee is in great shape, and so it's anywhere from a 6 to 12 month, probably more on the 9 length of recovery. Not what we wanted, but it's where we're at. So just wanted to share that news with you, and open any questions there.
How's he doing?
Ricky's good. He's obviously really tough deal. He worked his tail off to get back from this. He attacked the rehab incredibly well. Ricky's an incredibly hard worker. He's a guy who didn't miss a game in college, and it's been a tough road for him since he's been in the league. But we know he's got a bright future. We're going to get this taken care of, and he'll come back, being that same player, and we look forward for that time.
How close were you guys to potentially having surgery as an option when it first happened?
No, it's just not the way, like Mac had a PCL last year. I think they're common throughout the league. And most, as I said, resolve themselves over time. And sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it can be as much as 9 to 12 months before they do resolve. But isolated PCL injuries, which Ricky had, typically do. But this one just didn't. And every case is different. Every situation is different. And this one, unfortunately, just didn't resolve. We felt good about it. Felt really good about it throughout the off season and into training camp, but 2 days in, he swelled up, and I think that was kind of the final straw. And collectively, all these docs, the consensus led us to that.
You guys bringing in Deebo Samuel
Yeah.
today? Is this done yet? And is this kind
No,
of
Deebo will be out there on the
Okay.
practice field today. What I would tell you guys, we've been talking to Deebo for about a month. Our hope was we added him into the mix with Ricky, with Mike Evans, with Strib, with that whole Christian Kirk and that whole group. We're thrilled to have Deebo. What we envision, and we've had great communication throughout the offseason since we started to talk to Deebo. Deebo, you're going to see him in the return game. You're going to see him at some receiver. You're going to see him at some running back. We're going to use him all over the field. And we're really excited to have Deebo back. Deebo, we have a lot of history with him. We know the type of player he is. He looks to be in really good shape, and so we're excited about that. And it was just fun having him back in the
What do you
building.
think changed over the last year? I mean, this is a guy you traded away a year ago, so
Yeah.
you're bringing him back.
Well, sometimes those things happen. I look at it very similar to Dre. That there is a business side to this game, and both those guys went elsewhere. Deebo had a very successful season in Washington, but we started engaging in conversations. We know him well. He knows us well. And so the real honest communication, and it led to a deal, and we're excited about it.
How does he look physique-wise, and does he look like, a earlier version of Deebo?
Yeah, you guys see for yourself, but he looks good. Yeah, he looks good. He got out there, yesterday afternoon after he signed with Dustin Perry and the guys. They moved him around. He's in good shape. So.
How about Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk should be coming. He strained his calf on the first day, and calf injuries, the timeline, it's usually longer, because of the mechanics of that part of your body. But Christian's doing well, and we're excited about having Christian Kirk as part of our team.
John, you said you wanted
Jordan James rib injury, like update timetable-ish?
No timetable, but he did fracture his rib, and we'll give that the ample time that it needs. Jordan came back, was really looking good. It was unfortunate deal, but we're excited about Jordan James.
John, you said you wanted Deebo and Ricky. Obviously, you don't have Ricky now. Does that put you guys in the market for a receiver, or do you feel fortified?
I think we're good. The collective, good question, but the collective. Now, look, you're betting on the come on some of these guys, the Jordan Watkins, the Jacob Cowings, Christian Kirk. I think Mike. You guys have seen Striv out there. We're really excited about the prospects with him. He's developing really well. So we feel good about where we're at, and a lot of competition there. I think that's been a really exciting group, from 1 to 11 or whatever we have in here right now. It's a good group. It's very competitive, and we like where we're at.
We saw Kyle out there longer than he'd been out there
Yeah.
to this point. Is that an indication that he's
Yeah.
making progress?
He's doing better. He's doing better. He addressed the team for the first time this morning as a whole, and they were excited. He got a nice welcome, and it was good to have him up here. We'll continue to do kind of like a phased approach. So, that was one threshold. He wanted to get up there. He was cleared to do so. So we'll see where it goes from there. He's doing well though.
Kyle, when Dre, sorry, I'm so used to Kyle being up there.
Yeah.
Well, when Dre came back, he was talking about just how much like being a year apart makes him realize how much he missed it. Did you get a similar sense from Deebo, like that grass isn't always greener, or just maybe that it
I
is,
think
he
so.
likes it?
I think so. And that's I think he had a good experience in Washington. This feels like home to him, and I think Dre the same way. So. It's like he never left, though, when he showed up and got out of the car yesterday. Big hugs, and I think there's an excitement amongst our team, much like there was when Dre came back. Those guys, when you share a lot of sacrifice with people, when you get after it for a common goal, you get very close. And so it's like you haven't skipped a beat, and everyone welcomes them back, and we're excited to have those guys. They're a part of us and the culture that we've built.
Nothing new on the Brandon Ayuk front.
Nothing, no. Yeah.
Is it safe to say that Deebo maybe fits your wide receiver core better now than the receiving core that you had a year ago?
I don't know. I think Deebo, it's just, I think as we started to think about it, like, look, the dynamic kickoff has brought the kickoff return back to the game. So you got to be really well positioned. Sky Moore was a really good returner. We lost Sky to Green Bay in free agency. And so on that alone, we were really excited. We think Deebo, and he's committed to doing that. We think he can be a weapon there. In the past, it's been, hey, Kyle, we got to win this game. It's the playoffs. Put me back there. Now he's committed to kind of doing that, and it's they added over 1,000 returns to the league last year with the dynamic kickoff. And so the return is part of a game, so we look forward to using him there. But then offensively, you guys have seen him, and I think Kyle has a great vision. Clay, all these guys being real creative in how we use them. And so
Any comments on Prague Marate
Yeah,
leaving the team?
I do want to. Parag's a great friend. He was invaluable to me when we came in here 10 years ago. He was part of the interview process when I came in here, along with Jed. And, I think as his demands got higher with all the interest, Parag's got a lot going on. So I think we've felt that over the last few years. Brian Hampton, Jeff Wiedemeyer, Jeff Diamond, that team is well equipped. We've been functioning. Prague spent less time here the last few years because of Leeds and Rangers and everything he's got going. But he's a valued friend. He's a valued sounding board, and I think that will remain. I think he's at the forefront of a lot of things that go on in the NFL from the football business side, and so he was tremendous. But I think we're well equipped, and bringing Kwesi in, who's been a general manager, has experience negotiating. He'll take on some of that, in terms of the relationships. R.J. Gillen has a great understanding of that. So we're well equipped to move forward, but indebted to Parag. He's been here 25 years. I've only been here 10, but he's been here 25 years and has had a huge imprint on this place. So we're very, I know I speak for Jed, Al, Kyle, the entire organization that we're extremely indebted, and he's not like going away. We'll still see him and stuff, but his focus will be elsewhere.
John, what's your assessment of Coach Firster and the rest of the staff, how they've had to step up over the last week in Kyle's absence?
They've been tremendous. And, as I said from the beginning, I felt like our leadership, the best teams I've ever been involved with, there's leadership throughout. And I think the best teams I've been involved with, you almost, yes, you need coaches, but the team kind of could run itself. And with guys like Fred Warner and Christian and Kyle Juszczyk and Nick Bosa, all these guys, Trent Williams, I think that's the case. But Chris Firster has been tremendous. Raheem's been tremendous. Clay, the entire staff has been tremendous. And to the point where we've been able to allow Kyle the time to get well and do this the right way. And I think that the plan has worked really well. And we've got a lot done in these first block of training camp, as we call it, and looking forward to continue. You got to get better every day.
John, what's it like having Kyle standing back there with you?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And I think he likes the vantage point. He really does. But it's fun. It's it's uncanny. The way he. I think in a lot of these occasions, more so each day, but like early on, he hadn't looked at a script and he's telling me things that are about to happen, and sure enough, here they come. Now, it helps when you help, those are your plays, those are your concepts and all those, but it's just fun, it's engaging, and, early on, I kind of, would give the guy a signal, the DJ, hey, that music's killing him, AC/DC, probably they'll be here Wednesday, but probably a little hard on a guy coming off something like that. Some of the softer stuff, so I'm giving signals to the guy, and like even stuff like that, it's just getting a little better each day. So he's doing well.
You may have already answered this question, but what went into the decision to bring Deebo Samuel back?
So many things, but number one, Deebo makes us better as a football team, and we're interested in getting better. So it was finding common ground on a deal. And, look, Deebo has been, at times one of the better players in football. And so was at a different stage where, we kind of evaluated the market. Deebo did the same. And, about a month ago, we started, having talks in earnest and came to fruition here a couple days ago, and we're thrilled to have him back. And the locker room is, we played a lot of good football with Deebo. He's ended up in that end zone a lot. He's had a lot of explosive plays, and we're excited to add him back. And as I told these guys earlier, it didn't feel like he ever left. It's good to have him back.
If you can kind of reflect on your time as a player and then speak to what it's like to be in a locker room when you bring core guys back on both sides, like bringing Greenlaw back, bringing Deebo Samuel back. Yeah. What does that do for a locker room?
Well, I just think, when you've had that shared sacrifice, you get to know people extremely well. So these guys, they haven't stopped being friends, but when you have them back and they're part of us, it feels good. It feels, they all know what Deebo can do, and we know what he can do, and so I think excitement's the right word.
Sorry, guys. Recap for me just with Ricky.
Yeah.
Just what his status is and how you put him on.
He's going to be on season-ending IR, so that will formally happen today. Surgery will happen in the next couple weeks. I think all those details are being worked out, and that's yeah.
Would you consider surgery this off season? Like, kind of what went into the like?
We had those conversations. You obviously are doing your due diligence, so we reevaluated after, and the consensus was that that wasn't the step to take. He did well throughout the off season, ran into some other road bumps at that point. Between all the docs that we consulted, between Ricky, between Tim McAdams, our orthopedic surgeon, that the decision was made that was the as I said, it would Tim said, it's declared itself. And, the course of action that everyone felt was appropriate was having surgery. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
What happens in a practice like today's when you kind of run out of one specific position?
You just keep going, and you do what you do in a game. Stuff happens in the game. You got to switch personnel groupings. You got to be able to deviate off the schedule and off the scripted plan, and be able to get the other guys out there and give them opportunities. Like nothing better than like that happening in these type of environments. You want to strain these guys into the point of where they can go. Take ourselves into deep water a little bit and find a way to swim. And I think those are the things that we had to do today. I love this style of practice. I love the physicality of it all. I love the guys being able to fight through it and get all the stuff that you want to get done today. Couldn't be more proud of how we accomplished that today.
Early on in practice, it looked like you and Deebo were catching up, having a nice conversation. Obviously, you probably can't give the details of it, but what is it like to have him there, if you can give the details?
I've hated him so long. And it's so nice to have him back in a friendly atmosphere. But, he's been one of those guys that's been a highly competitive guy in the National Football League that you got to deal with. No matter what the circumstance of the game is, what the situation is of the game, you got to be aware. He's the ultimate piece that can move around, and you have to game plan around because his ability to run the football, his ability to line up at receiver, his ability to take screens, his ability to do a bunch of different things on special teams, whether it be return man or whatever the case may be. He's so versatile, and we've used him so well in the Bay for so long that, we were kind of catching up. Caught up yesterday, but it's always good to see him, a face that's familiar around this building, and getting him back is really cool.
What are your memories of facing him in two really kind of consequential games at the end of the...
Let's just sum it up in this. I don't know. I think it was 22. And he caught this pass on us that we should have picked off, and I think he took it for about 60. And I think he was a free agent, and it played every day that summer. And I couldn't watch ESPN for the entire summer because I kept watching Deebo score a 60-yard touchdown on us. So those are the biggest memories I got on him, with him making big-time plays on us and them finding ways to get him the ball in unique situations and getting him the ball in space. And we know what he can do in space.
Raheem, the rookie defensive tackles, Thompson and Eason, showing power and quickness and speed and all that in the one-on-ones. How do you see the D-tackle rotation behind Osa? Is it competitive?
It really is. You got to go even. One of our guys is out right now, and Halton, he started off really well. You got C.J. West out there. You got a bunch of different guys. Got big AC coming back, and then some of even the young guys, they've really stepped up and done some really good things. So it's nice to see those guys getting reps, getting opportunities, seeing them have to fight through days like this. That's what the league is about, fighting through days like this, finding a way to contribute, and those guys are all finding ways to be significant contributors in that room, and it all play out, as we go further and further in the camp.
What is the level of concern when you have so few edge rushers available at the moment?
It's hard to say level of concern. You got Bosa out there, you got Romello Height, Michael Williams is coming back off injury. They're going to all come back at some point. You got Keon White out there. You got a bunch of different guys that can give you such a presence. And then you got different people that can provide different type of rush mechanisms. When you're talking about Fred, you're talking about Greenlaw, you're talking about even the safety position with a guy like Tig, trying to utilize and find different ways to mix it up to get rush, pressure and things that you're able to do. It's hard to say concern. It's more for me like, the chess pieces that can move around and give you different tools and different things that can happen and how you work them.
Does the film from practice capture the Trent and Bosa doing their one-on-one thing on the side, and do you get a chance to watch them?
That's their own personal thing. Those guys, Bosa goes and gets them and he does his own work. A lot of times he pulls Trent and gets his one-on-one reps and things that he has to do, and then he goes over with Bosa and kind of helps those guys. And, when you see two vets like that working together, you kind of want to get away. Let those guys do what they do. That's why they're great. Whatever the greatness that they're searching and the little intricate details that they're trying to get done over there, let those guys go and do those things. Those little private moments. I know they're right in front of you guys, so they're not that private, but that's the things that they do. I kind of walk away when I see that kind of stuff.
You mentioned Tig. What are your impressions of him so far?
Tig and a lot of the other safeties have been really impressive. They've gotten hands on the balls, having a chance to knock some passes down, do a bunch of different things as far as covering, watching these guys really gain grasp of the defense and really communicate at a very high level with Fred. It's hard not to when you got those guys out there at the linebacker position doing what they do. To be able to read the right call and be able to communicate with those guys is really easy. So I'm very impressed with the guys being able to pick it up and how much they love football. That's the real cool part about this place.
What's the Deebo of the North? He's known to be like very.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Deebo.
Okay. Remember anybody say his real name in so long? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Deebo. He's known to be very competitive around the league, but then you see him out there really excited to go up against guys like Mike Evans. A little bit today against Deebo Samuel. What have you seen from him? Especially in 11-on-11 drills, but from the competitor that he is.
Demo's one of those guys, like you talked about, being highly competitive. So when he's playing against Mike, gold jacket type of guy in practice, and then you get back Deebo, and we know what Deebo brings from as far as a competitive standpoint, along with the D-Robs, along with, all the other wideouts that we got, the young striblings. So there's a bunch of different guys out there that provide different challenges, and I really love how he's accepting it. He's going out there trying to find out his spots, picking his spots to play really aggressive, picking his spots to play, really smart, picking his spots to be able to utilize his help, being able to understand the defense at a very high level. I mean, it's all really competitive for him on the grass, but it's just as competitive for him inside the grass. It seems simple for those guys, but they got little moments that they can pick, and I love how they're picking those moments. Him and Ronaldo has really, stood out in that way. To be able to go find him and Jack as well, being able to go find those moments. I mean, Luder, a bunch of different guys have made some plays. So it's like they're finding those moments and those places where they can make plays, and it's really cool to watch.
Raheem, given your history and background, if Aaron Donald does come back, would you say he could be Aaron Donald again?
It's Aaron Donald. Yeah. So, those kind of guys are what they are. And they can do whatever they put their mind to. They got those different mentalities, those different people. We all know those people in sports. I think we talk about all the time that Kobe Bryant, those Michael Jordans, those Aaron Donalds, those people like that. Different conversation.
Would you counsel him to stay retired if you could?
I'm not going to counsel him to do anything. You can counsel him to stay retired, and he may come back just to spite you. So, I'm sure he is a grown man, and he's going to make a grown man decision, whatever it is, whenever he decides to make it.
How has Osa Digazua's acclimation been to the defense?
It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch him come in, and then really the first thing I noticed is what's his routine, his daily routine and how hard he works and how much he does for himself to keep himself ready to go. So those are the nosy moments you have as a coach where you can ask those things. Man, when did this start? And he just talked about his history and, growing up and, having a brother that played as well and being able to adapt some of those things from different people in the places that he's been and watching him go through his process and how long he's able to be in the building. His mental stamina to stay within the framework of what we're doing and to figure out how good he can be. I really appreciate that about him. So, his presence being graced upon us in the building with, great smile, great energy, person that loves football and really comfortable with himself. Those are all really great qualities to bring to a different team.
Coach, how would you evaluate Jaden Duggar so far through camp, and where is he at in his development?
He's doing great. The young man has really stepped up on special teams, showing his ability to contribute immediately. Everybody's special team is kind of the proving ground. And when you go out there and you show physicality out there, that really helps it. So, when Brand and Colt and those guys give those guys those kind of credits, and then that gives them the ability to get out there and play even more defense and get more confidence, watching them grow every single day and learn from every single, I can't say mistake, but correction, whatever that correction is, I think is always something that's fun when you're talking about those younger players. And he's, within his room, there's not a lot of talking I have to do to him. He's got Fred and Greenlaw, who are players in that room, along with guys like Wallow and Tatum that have been in this system and been in the system and been around those guys and how to prepare. And then the coaches in that room, talking about Johnny Holland and KJ Wright, guy that's played a long time. They both played in the league. They both coached a long time. Well, Johnny's coached a long time, and he's got a bunch of knowledge he's able to get and acquire every single day, and he's eating it all up.
Renardo was saying the other day that he felt like you have done a good job of kind of stripping things down to so that they can play fast, simplifying things enough that it's more digestible. Can you just explain what he might mean by that? What are some of the methods you use to try to do that to make?
It's hard to say without giving away all Renardo's secrets, but it's having such a DB background, it's like you're able to relate to those guys and what's important. And then it's like trying to find ways that they can take shots and have opportunities to make plays. This whole league is based on those guys making plays. Nobody cares if you go out there and cover a guy and they don't get a catch. They care about what the significance of the plays that you made were. And he's found ways to make significant plays throughout camp and throughout the offseason. And he's growing every single day as he learned, and his communication with his safeties and what he should be and how he should be and what he should look like. I think those things have all gotten better for him. And that's probably what he's talking about, and it's being able to give him those details and be able to talk to him and coach those guys. And again, he has another big time veteran in his room, and Jerry Gray that's played a lot of football. He's caught a lot of interceptions in his league. He's coached a lot of really great DBs, and he's able to get it from, everybody, all walks of life and within his building. Ray Brown, he's got a ton of coaches in there, and I'm only a contributor to be able to help those guys.
Was
Was there something you saw with him, either on tape or even in your conversations with him, where maybe he was overthinking, or something that did need to strip it down a little bit?
It was less about that. It was more about my evaluation from college, what I knew about him and who he could be. It was kind of the relationship that he had with Jalen Ramsey, obviously being a Florida State guy. It was obviously some of those immediate relationships that was able to help me, really, get in with him before even going dark about anything that went wrong within the past here. I mean, that's the corner's position, right? There's only two positions in the National Football League that get all the criticisms, tackles and corners. It is what it is. That's the life we chose. And it's like you got to find a way to ignore the noise and find a way to be the best version of yourself every day.
Yesterday in practice, Fred and Dre had aggressive moments. Given the fact they're veterans and done this a long time, is it necessary to give them a protect your teammates message, or do you like a bit of that edge, or how do you handle situations like that?
That's a part of us, right? We always talk about protecting the team. That's something that we talk about every single day, whether it's in the defensive unit rooms, whether it's in our team meetings, whether it's in our position rooms. That's a major part of what we do. And you always get tempers to flare. And when you're talking to those adults, it's easy to be really critical and hard on those guys about what we wanted to look like. And they know what we wanted to look like. You can tell by their body language after, even when it happens. I told Fred the other day, he's starting to fight in practice and he's walking up the field and he's kissing every baby that's in sight. I'm like, you are the ultimate guy. And then they're very correctable moments that gives your head coach an opportunity to go in there and talk to the very best players on your football team every day and correct those things. And when people see that, that gives great examples. So it's always good. You don't want them. You wish they would do it right away, but if that was the case, they wouldn't need us. And that's what we're here for.
There's a lot of players in this league that really like playing for you, and when you lose a defensive end, does a guy like Leonard Floyd blow up your phone? And you've had him a couple times. What has he done for your defense in the past?
Leonard Floyd is a phenomenal football player. He's he's even a better human, and he's the kind of high quality guys that you always want to be around. But it's not that he blows up my phone. I mean, those things all happen within the workings of our group upstairs, and obviously. You're always going to have an input. You're always going to have a say. They're always going to come to you and be very, ask the questions, ask the things. And Leonard's been here, so we know what he's about. We know what those kind of guys are about. So, those things could possibly happen. You never know. You always keep guys. They're always shortlisted. There's things that happen all the time. We got great people in place to do those things. RJ and Josh and all those guys in that personnel department that are constantly looking every single day. You got a lot of credit, a lot of respect for those guys.
How was Nick Martin doing? And you're talking about Fred and Dre as being on the field, not just in that room, but on the field as the third linebacker with them, something that can really speed up his development.
The pads came on yesterday, and he really showed up. Had one of his better days yesterday with his pads. You could see the ability to run around and be physical and hit. You can see his explosion. You can see the things where he drafted. You see a lot of the traits, and he's continuing to grow every single day. So being out there with those two guys won't hurt. I can tell you that much. So having the ability to get him out there and compete at a very high level, that's what you want. You want highly competitive spots, highly competitive people at all those spots going out there competing at a big-time level.
Welcome back. When you're going through the process of kind of figuring out what was next for you, how much was a return here kind of on your mind, and what made it happen?
Ever since last year, like I said, me, Cal, John, we always had those conversations, whether I was here, whether I was there. But the bond never left for sure.
Chatting off season, a lot of people make comments about how good you look in the off-season workouts. Was there anything different, any attention to detail on something different coming back this season, or how was that off-season training for you?
It was a little different. As I stated, I started a YouTube or whatever, but it's just different. It was my first time being a free agent, so it was just a long process. It was frustrating. It was hard, but I had good people in my corner for us, the guys that I grew up with, a couple other people, but it was head down and just get to work and just whatever happens, happens.
So given that, is it any different feeling being back in the building after that type of stuff?
I wouldn't say it was different. It kind of felt like I ain't even go nowhere, to be honest. When I got back, I was just I know what's going on. I know the people here. Staff's still the same, so it's kind of the same for real.
But how did you enjoy your year in Washington, and how are the organizations different from one another?
I'm not going to compare organizations, but I had a good time over there.
Did Kyle reach out to you after his accident? How did you hear about it, and just what was it like seeing him again when he got back?
I heard about it as soon as you guys did, but when it came out, I kind of talked to him, and he was kind of normal to me.
I saw you chatting with Mike Evans today. What are those conversations like, and what is it like coming back into a room that looks a little bit different?
It was kind of different, when I left, the guys that was here. But I met Mike at Pro Bowl, and, he was in Tampa doing his thing. He'd been doing it for a long time, but the conversation we was having out there was just like, just regular conversation, really not about ball, just getting ready for practice.
John Lynch mentioned that he'd been talking with you and your representation for about a month. What was it that tipped the scales to bring you back?
My agent and John do a good job, and the side conversations with me, John, and Kyle is just like always kind of been the same. It was just a matter of time before it happened.
You were pretty tight with Ricky when Ricky came in as a rookie. Just your thoughts on him right now as he's heading off to surgery and.
Kind of been tight with him. He was in Arizona. I was in Arizona. Kind of haven't lost a beat since last year when I left. We still stayed in communication, and I kind of talked to him the night whenever he got the news, and he was a little frustrated. And I was like, bro, just keep your head up, man. Your time's coming. It's just like he just kind of had bad luck right now. It's like really nothing that he can do about it. But overall, he's shown what he's capable of when he's healthy, and wish him well in surgery and a quick recovery for sure.
Raheem Morris said he hated going up against you. Saw you guys having a conversation out there. What was that conversation like? And now that you guys are, I guess, on the same side, what's different about that?
He got a really good scheme. He was joking yesterday. He was like, man, I'm so glad I ain't got to go against you, this, that, and the third. And I was like, I'm kind of glad you're one of my coaches as well. So it's kind of like that kind of relationship is going to build. We've always been opponents, but now we're on the same side, so we'll continue to build from there.
What was the reaction like from your teammates when you finally showed up in the locker room?
I was in the locker room yesterday, so I kind of seen them all. Kind of like I stated before, it's like, felt like I never left. They was happy, I was happy, and we just ready to get the ball rolling.
Is there like a part of you that feels like you have something to prove still? I know you always kind of carry a chip on your shoulder anyway, but given the way maybe the last few years have gone for you, do you feel like you have an additional motivation?
I mean, I'm continue to be myself whenever the opportunity presents itself. I'm ready for it.
Can we volunteer the number, or was there a transaction there?
It was a little transaction. We made it happen.
Deebo, this is a somewhat unique situation. You twice requested trades to leave here, but obviously, whatever happened, it didn't create bad blood or bad feelings. How is it that you, John, Kyle, still have maintained such a strong relationship through everything?
I mean, contract negotiations is contract negotiations, and then those are conversations for John, Kyle, and my agent to have. But our relationship has never changed or had a fallout. So, I mean, that was just like contract negotiations that I'm not in control of.
You were involved really quickly in the offense today. Was that the plan? Were you ready for that?
Yesterday it was like, let's see where you at. Let's see, how you feel. So I did a workout yesterday night or whatever. And then it was like, all right, we're going to give you 8 to 10 plays today and just see how it goes. And we're just going to keep building from there.
You had a few teammates who said they were offering up their guest houses for you on social media. Did you take them up on any?
Nah.
You feel like your role in this offense will be similar to your first 6 seasons with the Niners?
I have no idea. We're just going to roll with the punches.
A not so serious question. You and Trent, usually the two guys up front with the boom boxes, they coming back?
They used it when I was gone, so I mean, hey, we still got to rock out.
Dre, we asked you this in the off season, but now that you're in training camp, Fred talked about it earlier this week. How good does it kind of feel back out there? And it kind of seems like you guys set the tone for the energy level, especially in that group. Take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels unbelievable, honestly. Like, just being next to 5'4", he gonna control the defense. He gonna have you in the right place, and it just feels like old times, man. You just run around having fun, just enjoying every day, just bringing that juice and getting the best out of each other. And I mean, it just feels great.
In the spring, you talked about just kind of what made you want to come back here. With Deebo coming back now too, I know it's only been like 24 hours, but have you guys had a chance to talk about like, hey, the pull of coming back and playing for this organization again?
Yeah, I mean, I reached out to him a little bit, during this free agency time, and just kind of say, hey, man, come on back, man. Like, what I'm saying? Like, let's have a reunion. Let's do this thing together, bro. I mean, he knows, like, it ain't no place like San Fran. I mean, you can go, just talking to a bunch of different guys and, getting their experience at different places. And and then just, for myself, just the coaches, the people in the building, the players, the leadership that we got on this team, just that warm feeling that you get that it's time for battle, and that's the only thing that matters. And this place is just about football, and I mean, if you're a football player, you love that, and just to have the right group of guys around you that wants the same thing and that got that same motivation, man. It's just an unbelievable feeling, unbelievable place, and I know that's what he wants too. I know Deebo's a football player as well, and sometimes you got to go and see what's out there, but once you go, you realize, hey, ain't nothing like San Fran.
Reaction like in the locker room when Deebo comes back in?
Oh man, it's huge. I mean, he's the juice of the offense. He's the thing that keep the offense going. When they need a spark. So just knowing that he's going to be back on our side, man, it just gives you all the confidence in the world that that we can get this done this year. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him.
We asked Demo about you and you coming back, and he's like, "We got our bully back." When you hear that, how does that make you feel?
Man, I'm just happy to be accepted by the guys. Really, honestly, just leaving and coming back, you don't know how things are going to be, but to hear some of the guys and to hear that how they accept you back, and they just want you to be you. I mean, that's all I could ask for. I mean, I remember telling you guys, I'm not going to be no more than what I am. What I bring to the table, which is just being me. You know what I mean? Having fun to go out there and play football the way that I do. So, just to get that type of respect and from your teammates and that type of welcome, man, it makes you feel good.
You were here when the defense was, pretty similar as it has been over the last few years, and then you have Raheem Morris coming in, adding some versatility. What has that transition been like, those adjustments being made, and what do you like about that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great for us. It allows us to, just tighten things up and just not give the offense, something to look at every time and know, kind of what we're in a little bit. Although, in the past, we've played our defense and it's bread and butter, we know it like the back of our hand, but it's going to be a good change-up to kind of, keep teams guessing, and then, just being able to interchange between those two. I mean, it's going to be, you just don't know where it's going to be coming from. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Denver defense in a way with the 5-down stuff, but, we still got our bread and butter on what we like to do with our four down.
Dre, after the little bit of skirmish yesterday, was there any self-regulating talk amongst the defense, or did anyone talk to you guys, or you just have to?
Oh no, we ain't gotta talk. No, it's man. One thing about us, like this team, is just like it's all love. Like what I mean. Like temperatures rise, this and that, and things flare up, but it's all love in the building. Like I respect 2-3 more than anybody. Man, I told him when we first came in, bro. Like you my favorite player. Like I told him that. Like he knows that, and obviously all the guys that he didn't pay with Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis and all them. So I've been telling him, like, bro, I've been watching you since you came in. So, just to get that honor, back in, 21 when he came. But, yeah, no, like sometimes you got to get it going a little bit, man. You got to get them juiced up, man. So, yeah, man, if, he want to throw a ball to get them going or whatever you got to do, hey, do it. So, whatever we got to do to get things rolling, man. So, I mean, it's all love. It's just football at the end of the day.
What's your thought process in that moment, though? Because you didn't retaliate. Was it just like, oh, you got one, I got one, we're good here? What are you thinking?
Honestly, my process was like, you better not touch 23. Or you might not be on this team. So, but, I think it was a play before where I kind of got rolled up on him a little bit. And I was like, damn. So, but then naturally they catch the ball. He caught a ball on me, the 5-yard ball, and I pushed him out of bounds. I think he thought it was worse than what it was. But, I mean, at the end of the day, my first initial reaction was, I was happy he did it because it just shows like he got that fire in him. And that's what I like. I mean, I like that fire. So, like it just gets everything and everybody going, man. So, but yeah, I knew don't touch 23.
To be clear, you and Fred were not sent to the principal's office after practice.
Oh, no. But yeah, you still lesson learned though. It's just a lesson learned at the end of the day. But nah.
Is that bully label that Lenore talked about? Is that accurate? Do you find that accurate, or do you take exception to it?
Bully? I don't think I'm a bully. I mean, you can call it whatever you want on the field, but I don't know. I don't know what to call it, if that's what I want to call it. But I'm definitely not a bully, like, off the field, though. I don't try to, like, be that, try to give that, like, representation of who I am as a person, because that's not me at all. I love everybody. I love everybody, but I love just coming in the building and working and getting a chance to be with my teammates. But when them pads come on, whoever on the other side of the ball got to get it, so.
They say game recognizes game. What do you think of Nick Martin so far?
Yeah, baller, for sure. Just got all the tools that he need, the speed, just the instincts, playmaking ability. Just young and still, need reps and just need, time to just continue to grow. But he definitely is going to be a person that I feel like that's going to make an impact in this league sooner or later. And, it's been great to work beside him, to see how he gotten better, just from his last year to this year, and just to see his growth and how it's going to take off. I mean, it's like, he's going to be that linebacker that we're going to be counting on, to come in and, maybe be the fever backer and be on the edge, or he may, be dropping or whatever it may be, but we're going to count on him a lot of ways to help contribute, and I know he's going to make a big impact for us.
John Lynch compared Nick Martin to you last year when they drafted him. Do you see any similarities at all between the two of you, either in style or character, like anything that stood out?
For sure. I think that, he's kind of more of just more quiet and conservative to himself a little bit. And, I think I'm like that in a way. It depends on, if you get me riled up or not. But I haven't seen him too riled up. Yesterday he was talking after a couple of hits, and I was hearing him, and I was loving it. And I was like, okay, I hear you out there, 4-5, you know what I'm saying? And he was getting juiced up. So I think that's going to come with time. The more he plays, he's able to make, the more confidence he get, the more you're going to hear from 4-5. So, I do see myself in a lot of ways, just, the way he played. He's a fast player. And then once he knows it, he's very instinctive. So he's going to make a big impact for us.
It seems like the defensive backs are off to a good start this camp. What are your impressions of the guys behind you so far?
Oh, yeah, man. They look good back there, just coming in. It's a lot more guys that are just ready all across the board. Young guys, obviously having Jair and Singles back there, and he's still young as well. But, and Mustafa, he's a little down right now. But, it's just a bunch of guys, depth all across the board. You know what I mean? Now, I feel like, in the last few past years, you get one guy in the back end down, then, it was a struggle. Especially, I remember that 2020 year. It was a struggle. D-bombs everywhere. But now, you just get confidence that, the backup guys going to come in and they're going to hold it down. And, these young guys that's getting these vital reps and got those reps last year, they're going to be just that much better than they were. So, it's only going to get better for the back end.
You seen from KJ Wright as your coach this year?
Yeah, KJ, he's an alpha dog for sure. He brings good juice to the team, man. He just let us be ourselves too. You know what I mean? He knows how to play football. He know what it feels like to be on that field between those lines, and how things can get carried away. We was actually just watching some tape of him. Just being up on the Seattle. It wasn't Seattle, it was Green Bay. But that's what you don't do, though. He was telling us what you don't do. But he right. But he's one of the guys. Honestly, he's one of the guys. But he's a leader too as well, and just got so much respect for him. Even obviously as he being my coach, but even before he was my coach, like him and Bobby, like watching them go to work, and then just those battles that we had with Seattle, and then now he's the coach, so he just knows that we know that he know what he's doing, and. The more every day he come in, you can just tell his confidence is just growing, and he's understanding the game plan. We all picking up, a little bit of a new game plan. So, the more you understand it, he's understanding it more and more, and we all are together. And that's what makes it so special and so fun is that, we're all in this thing together.
You've been through so much, health-wise since the Super Bowl. Is right now, everyone's like, this is the healthiest I've ever felt, right? But, is there something to that with you, like where you are as far as your body? Have you felt this good in a while?
I haven't, actually. That's funny, man. I haven't felt this good since I about a month before the Super Bowl. You know, even that whole time I was dealing with Achilles. Then you finally get a little healthy last or the year after the Super Bowl, you know, just enough to play. And then second game, you do your calf and you go in the offseason, going to the Broncos, you're thinking, okay, this is the year that I'm finna, you know, make it happen. And the second day you go in, you pull your quad off the bone. So, I mean, it's been just one after another, and I just been playing catch up the whole time. But now, you know, I just feel like I'm where I need to be now as far as just, you know, body, health-wise, everything. And I know I got the best people in the world going to take care of me. And, you know, I ain't got to go out there and do more. I ain't got to go prove it to nobody. I ain't got to do this. I got to go play football still, but I don't have to go out there and overdo it to try to, you know, to prove to them that I'm a football player or who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's gonna help a lot.
The quad injury
and your experience and having to recover from so many in a short amount of time. I mean, you would think that somebody like Ricky could learn a lot from someone like you. Is that a conversation that maybe has been had, or maybe you reached out and talked to him, or a conversation that you guys are planning on having, given, you know, him maybe being a little down on his circumstances right now?
No, for sure. I definitely have talked to Ricky plenty of times, you know, since, you know, everything came out about the knee and stuff like that. And I'm just letting him know, like, bro, like, ooh, he got hell of talent. Like, he can play ball. Like, bro can run. He can run routes. Like, Ricky is that guy. It's just going to take Ricky some time. Like, he got to give him some time to heal and, you know, to take care of his body and do what's best for Ricky. And Ricky going to play for this in this league for a long time. And I know it sucks just not being able to get going. I kind of like the way it's kind of starting for him. It's kind of how the last 2 years has been for me. But, man, at the end of the day, you got to enjoy it as much as possible. Enjoy it every day. You never know when your last day is going to be on this field. You know what I mean? So every day you go out, you got to bring just that juice, that gratitude, man, everything, because you just never know, man. So, you know, I've talked to him and just encouraged him, like, hey, man, like, bro, it sucks now, but I'm trying to tell you, bro, just like keep doing what you're doing. Keep, you know, just keep pushing yourself, keep getting better. You know, obviously you got to heal up, but, you know, just keep doing the little things right, man. And most importantly, man, stay faithful to God, man. And all that, it's gonna take care of itself. Always has. So, and I believe that.
When you mentioned the quad injury, was that a particularly low moment? I mean, just being in a new team, you want to prove yourself and reward their trust and all that stuff. I guess when you think about the last 2 years, I mean, where does that fit as far as kind of, sorry, not a cheery question, but low moments for you?
Yeah. No, it definitely was a real low moment, man, because you just, you know, you're just excited to go and prove to them what you can do and all the things that, you know, who they say you are, that you are. And, I mean, it just, once I got the quad, you know, it was just, and they tried their best to support me through the process and stuff, but, you know, it just wasn't healing the right way. Like, normally pretty easy with healing. Like, my body heals pretty fast. And I just remember with this quad, like, I'm sitting there working every day and grinding, and, like, as soon as I go out and take off super fast, like, it'd pop again. So I'm just dealing with it, you know, even when we came here for training camp. And, yeah, I mean, I remember coming here for training camp, but just obviously feeling because I couldn't practice. And then, yeah, I mean, went out there before the game started and got running and ended up messing it up again. So it was just an ongoing thing that I just really needed rest from. And, but, yeah, it was definitely a low moment, man, because you just knew that you were just, like, just not hurting the team, but, you know, you're just giving them the narrative that they want, you know what I mean? That, you know, you're injury prone and can't do this and can't do that. So, yeah, it sucks, man. Went definitely through a depression, man. But, yeah, like, I'm thankful for the guys here, though. Like, you know, talking to Z's, those were the guys that really helped me get out of the situation and that depression for sure.
That's okay. Last one.
Were you as curious as anyone about this power plant conspiracy theory on the injuries?
Yeah, I was like, man, what the hell going on over here? Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Like, I grew up playing football on concrete, so I mean, I don't look into that. I don't even look into the field situation. Like, you know, as long as we got a field to play on, I don't care if it's grass or turf. So I'm not really the one to kind of like, yeah. But I was interested. I was like, You got to look into it now. It's something there. But hey, you never know.
Thanks, Dre.